So I was dating this guy who broke up with me after like 2 months, and he was obsessed with taking baths in his jetted tub. So when I gave him a box of his stuff back, I also threw in a bath bomb that was full of glitter, and I took the label off so he couldn't read it. And he wasn't really happy, and he was texting me how upset he was to go to work covered in glitter, and I just responded to all of his text messages with pictures of Edward from Twilight. And then I covered his entire gravel driveway in a big thing of glitter so that every time he walks in his house, he tracked glitter in. And then I also put his phone number into the eHealth website for health insurance quotes, and he probably got 200 phone calls. And I also decorated his house with happy birthday banners because he forgot to call me on my birthday. And now we're married and having a baby.
Whoa! The plot twist of the century! Hey, at least you had a sense of humor about it. And now every time he sees that glitter, he will think of you. But also, now you're, I'm assuming, living in the house that you have stained with glitter.
Am I the a-hole for going no contact with my sister after she made a pass at my husband? I, 48 female, have been with my husband Mike, 52 male, for almost 14 years. Married for 8 years. My half-sister, let's call her Sherry, 58 female, moved down to our area a few years ago. She asked me to get her a job at the place both myself and my husband worked. I worked second shift, he worked third shift. I said I would see what I could do, but honestly didn't put in any real effort because of her attitude and her flair for the dramatic. She likes to create drama, and when she's called out on it, she instantly becomes the victim. She kept pushing against my husband's advice. I finally turned in her name to my supervisor for a job. She was hired almost instantly. Fast forward a few months, she'd been carpooling with me since I had to pass through her area on my way to work. It started with her wearing a particular perfume that would cause my allergies to go haywire. This is literally the only scent that makes me cough, sneeze, eyes water, and cause me to get a horrible headache. I asked her the first time she was wearing it what it was. She told me, then said, "Oops, I forgot, so sorry." I asked her not to wear it again on work days. She agreed, and the very next day, she didn't have it on. About halfway to work, she pulls out the bottle from her purse and proceeds to spray it in the air and lean forward in her seat. So while you're driving, she did that, knowing it would cause you to sneeze, your vision to become impaired while you're driving. With her in the car. Of course, the vents cause it to circulate throughout my car. I instantly get a pounding headache and my eyes start watering, etc. I roll down all the windows and pull over. She started saying, "We'll be late for work," to which I reply, "I won't," and proceeded to order her out of my car. She apologizes profusely and tells me it won't happen again and that she wasn't even thinking about it. This is important to the story. About 2 weeks later, she came close to where I was working and shouted my name, then abruptly turned and started twerking. Yes, you read that right. My 58-year-old half-sister was twerking in front of all my coworkers. I wanted to crawl under my workstation and unalive very slowly from embarrassment. Some things just can't be unseen. I was mortified. Later that night, we were working late, and as I went on break, my husband was just coming in, about to clock in. I kissed his cheek, as I don't do PDA at work, and took a quick break. As I was coming back in, I noticed Sherry sitting in the break room that usually only third shift used. Mike was standing around with his coworkers waiting to clock in. I stopped and spoke to him for just a moment, then headed back to work. Next day, I pick up Sherry for work. She's unusually quiet. As soon as I park, she opens the door and steps out. Then she starts spraying all that perfume on again, with my car door open, meaning the smell is overtaking the interior of my vehicle. I'm livid. I tell her to shut the f***ing door. You think that if you were wearing a perfume that literally gave people a visceral reaction, you would stop wearing that and get a new one. And then I get out and ask her why she would do that knowing I can't handle the smell. She states she knows I bought the cologne in the same scent for my husband and how she remembers me telling her it was his favorite. I explained that yes, I had purchased it for him, but found out after the fact that I was allergic, so he never wears it. She again states that it's still his favorite. Okay, I was a little dense at the time as I told her it didn't make any sense as to why she would wear it. We parted ways and she went to her work area, as did I. When lunch break rolled around, I went outside to call Mike as usual to make sure he was awake. He asked me if I had spoken to Sherry and I said, not really. Oh, He then explained to me the night before when I went back in for my last break that she made him feel uncomfortable. I asked him how. He said, well, you know how I look at steak on the grill when it's almost done? I said yes. He then said, like that. She was looking at me like I was steak and kept licking her lip. Then she stuck her chest out and lowered her voice and said, hey, brother-in-law. He then finished by saying, if you would prefer, please tell her that it creeped me out. And I don't think it's appropriate to wait until my wife leaves to speak to me. Wow. I would say no contact is definitely justified in this scenario. I was kind of stunned, but I told him I would take care of it. Just for reference, my husband is very masculine. He speaks his mind freely and without a filter. I've never known him to even stretch the truth, much less lie. I hung up the phone after telling him I love him, and I sat there trying to calm my temper before doing anything rash. A friend of mine sat beside me. Let's call her Monica. Monica asked me if I can talk for a second. I said sure, and she begins to tell me how Sherry was acting the night before, and how she was poking her chest out while trying to sound smexy, saying, hey, brother-in-law. Wait, she was doing this in front of other people? Ew. And that she was staring at my husband like he was a glass of water in the middle of the desert. Then tells me I need to watch her around my husband. After our talk, I go inside and straight to the bathroom to splash some water on my face. And another co-worker, not a second witness, oh my goodness, approaches me. In total, 4 co-workers approached me and warned me to keep my sister away from my husband. I was angry and embarrassed. Oh my. The sheer audacity to not only do this to your sister, but to also do it like in front of people. Oh, she jealous of you, honey. She wants your man. She wants your life. She even wanted to get that job just like you so she could be around your husband. That night, I debated leaving her to find a ride home, but I knew I needed to confront her about this. So I waited. I stayed quiet for most of the drive as I was going to get her to her house so that we could discuss this in front of her husband. You didn't say she was married. Yes, sorry, I forgot to mention she's married to her husband Tommy for almost 20 years. But as we were getting closer to her house, she asks, is everything okay? You seem really quiet tonight. Did Mike say something to upset you? And I couldn't hold it in after that. I said, yes, matter of fact, he did. He asked me to give you a message. This literally batted her eyes and said, really? What did he say? All excited. I told her that he asked me to talk to her because she creeped him out and told her verbatim exactly what he said. She automatically started denying it and asked if I really thought she would do something like that to me. I told her that common sense should have told her not to, but given her past, yes, I know she would. Peek into her past, my dad and I caught her with my brother's girlfriend. Oh, as in caught her. I hate people like this that are so desperate for romantic attention that they just go for people that, just to like prove that they can get them. And more recently, she slept with our niece's husband and left her clothes beside their bed for proof. Oh, she messy, and like not in a good way. Like that is not becoming. She began raising her voice, trying to convince me that Mike was a list and he was just trying to cause trouble between us. I then explained how 4 of her work friends came to me with the same story, and then I told her she better lower her voice. She then says, I can't believe that you would listen to him over your own sister. I then told her that being my sister was the only thing keeping me from needing bail, a tow truck, and an ambulance right then. She looked at me strange before I explained that if it were anyone else, I would need bail and a tow for my vehicle, and she would need an ambulance. She got real quiet. When you're playing with people's feelings like that and people's lives, like, it's only gonna end like that. Like, I'm sorry. You're literally causing trouble in people's lives for no other reason than you like drama. Just before I get to driveway, she says, if you really believe that I did that, then you can just let me out here. She almost ate the dash when I slammed on the brakes. She got out and walked home. This happened in 2021. She has everyone in our family trying to get me to reconcile or at least speak to her, as she has made herself out to be the victim. I'm not sure what she told them, but it clearly wasn't the truth. A lot has happened since then, but I refuse to feed into her drama. So, am I the a-hole for standing my ground and going no contact with my sister? Absolutely not. And if anybody has a problem with it, they can come and talk to you about it instead of just hearing one side of the story. And if they choose her, it's only a matter of time before she tries to hit on their husbands too. And apparently wives and girlfriends as well. So